Public housing has been a part of New Orleans history for more than half a century, providing thousands of families with safe, affordable housing when they needed it.
I've been a resident of public housing since July of '49. I was raised in the St. Bernard development. I have nothing but fond memories of my days in the St. Bernard development.
But as the decades progressed, public housing became an embarrassment in New Orleans, acknowledged by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development as among the worst, and it became a disaster for residents forced to live there by fate and circumstances.
The changes, the most noticeable changes that I've seen and witnessed is that people stopped caring for each other, neighbors stopped caring, managers stopped caring, and everything just was allowed to deteriorate.
But then, a new mayor forged a new partnership with the federal government, with residents and with local universities, developing new initiatives aimed at making self-empowerment a reality for a growing number of residents.
As we go through the work at each and every site, our hope is that we can use that as a base and continue to refine it as opposed to totally redoing it.
These days, an executive monitor approved by HUD oversees the HANO management team, but not without regular and honest input from his residents advisory group.
Okay.
And so the concern is that the elevators are not going all the way up, and they're
Okay.
not having access to the freight elevator because they're doing the work in high rise.
All right, we got that message. We can do something about that.
One of the things that we had over the years, and I was a commissioner too, and we always tried to involve residents in whatever we did. Residents sat on all of our committees. When the new cooperative agreement came about, that kind of diminished. So Ron Mason formed this advisory council that we all sit on, and we tell them what we don't like. They tell us what their plans are. If we object to it, we try to work out a compromise.
Mr. Mason, I held my finger up. I'd like to say over in the
Sorry,
CNP,
Ms. Karen, yeah.
which all of us did, like you say, in-house correctly, a written permission to have a party.
Written permission from the resident
From
council?
the resident council, with our letterhead paper on it. We have a special secretary that takes care of that.
Again, the topic today is welfare reform. This is a continuing one because, as you'll hear, a lot of these issues are still being worked out. And I think one of the things we, as an agency and as top staff of this agency, need to do is remain in the position of advocacy for our client.
You may not come in contact directly with residents, but because you hold some of the top executive positions, you need to know the real deal about welfare reform and how it will affect residents in public housing, not only in public housing, but in the city. So what we've been doing, Judy Watson, myself, and Viola Washington with Welfare Rights Organization, is that we've been training not only residents, because I've also been setting up town hall meetings in every site, working with the resident leadership, educating residents on the new welfare reform issues. But we've also been training any organizations, any top people who deal directly with people, any businesses that want to know the true impact of welfare reform.
Okay, remember what we said. Now, what you did earlier was to look at things that you like to do. You looked at things you like to do in school, things that you liked on other jobs, things that you were proud of, some of your accomplishments. So in setting your job goals, where you're going to start with something that you like to do and you have the skills for. That will be your number one choice.
The Tulane University partnership with HANO also led to creation of the Institute for Resident Initiatives to provide residents with realistic skills training and other services to help them empower themselves and fulfill some of their dreams.
Okay, we're going to take that information from things that you like to do with school. We started off with the things that you were proud of, with the things that you accomplished. We looked at things that you made, saved, or achieved. And we're going to take all of that and develop it when we start to do the master application and then when we do the resume writing tomorrow morning. And so what did you put as your number one goal? And remember, the number one goal is one that you have interest in and you have skills in. So what was your number one goal?
Child development, because I have some
Child
skills.
development worker. Okay, great. Okay, who else? Okay, and so what was your number one job goal?
To open my own business.
Well, that's your long-term goal.
I was recommended here by some associates. They felt like maybe I was a diamond in the rough, and this program would bring out my skills and help me accomplish the things I really need in life, like some financial stability, because I don't have that. I've been working most of my life here and there, but I need a steady, permanent job, a career.
Residents are empowering themselves in other ways, like at the B.W. Cooper site, where a resident management corporation, complete with its own staff, operates under contract to HANO. Most of the RMC employees are residents, overseeing most of the functions at the complex, including home counselors like longtime Cooper resident Leola Green.
Okay, what we do as home counselors is go out and try to make the residents feel very comfortable in their apartments and their surroundings. We check things like hallways to make sure they're swept clean, no garbage, no trash on fire escapes. We normally have an interval where we'll call so many tenants in, discuss things that we see that's going wrong. Regularly, we have certain areas that we go and do inspections. We choose so many apartments per day to check to make sure the stove, refrigerators are working properly, that the floors and walls and everything are kept, clean and sanitary.
Residents also become partners in a community-oriented policing strategy, in which specially trained and motivated officers become part of the developments in which some of them grew up themselves.
The police department formed a partnership with HANO and gave the residents more quality service. They improved the quality of life for the residents of public housing through community policing. It gave the department, the residents, and the housing authority a common forum where they could more or less all meet at the table, discuss issues that was common and more or less important to all three.
I want to just express my sincere appreciation for HANO for joining in with the most important thing that we can do, and that is to invest in our young people. This Scholarship Foundation, this fund, is a crowning example, I believe, of what happens in a community when they begin to circle the wagon around our children.
Another part of the Resident Initiative strategy provides assistance to resident-initiated business ventures, like this daycare center in Central City, operated and staffed by residents to take proper care of their own children, while providing moms with a place for their children to be nurtured while they re-enter the workplace.
All the benefits tie in the fact that housing authorities' residents empowered themselves so that they could prepare themselves to basically manage their own well-being. The center was formulated, again, so that we can hire residents of housing and so that we would be able to afford the residents affordable daycare for their children so that they could either go back to school or become employed.
If we were only to read the newspapers and look at news coverage, we would get the very clear and distinct impression that the young people who reside in public housing are all on a collision course with the criminal justice system. That's not true, and that is wrong. Like any neighborhood in our city, public housing has high achievers. Public housing has men and women and families trying to build a better life. Public housing has people who have hopes and dreams for a better tomorrow.
What you're looking for, 'cause I know what you're looking for. What you want? What you want? I got it. I got it. What you need? What
There is no denying the fact that many challenges remain when it comes to public housing. But there's no denying either the progress that can be made when residents, managers, and public officials become partners in the process of empowerment, so that youngsters like these can truly have brighter futures to look forward to.
I'm a quick learner, so it's just about anything you put in front of me, I can catch on and do it.